which has been put there long, long ago to protect humanity. And that person, whatever they think, happens. And so in this particular case, it was a woman out of Peru. She was only 23 years old. She made her way there, from what I understand. And when she brought that up into the sky, she said, okay, from now on, the Greys are going to get sick, and they'll keep getting sicker until they die if they stay here. And it was shortly after that they left.
It happened. It's almost like a wish that came true.
Well, for her it's a wish.
Yeah.
Whatever she thinks. And that's a myth. Whether or not it's true or not, I don't know, but I kind of believe it.
All right, we're going to take this quick break, and we'll be right back. Drunvalo Melchizedek is our special guest right here on Coast to Coast AM. And welcome back to Coast. I'm George Norrie. Drunvalo Melchizedek is with us tonight. Special program throughout the night. We'll take calls a little bit later on in the evening with him. Let's get back to this UFO under the Sphinx. How did it get there? I guess it came first, huh?
It's actually written in the Emerald Tablets exactly how to do it. And you have to learn how to move fourth dimensionally. I haven't ever done it. I don't know. But I have been in the position exactly where you have to be in the pyramids to do that. But I didn't do it.
Tell me about these cycles of time. Exactly what do you mean by these cycles of time?
Well, the cycles of time are the aspect of all of this that are somewhat overlooked by a lot of people. We're looking at the human involvement, we're looking at the ET involvement, and we're looking at a lot of things. But the cycles of time are what actually makes everything happen. It's, from my understanding, with speaking with many spiritual masters around the world, is that there is a cosmic DNA. There is this unfoldment of events that are taking place that don't have much to do with us. They have to do with the movement of planets and stars and galaxies and how these movements take place. And so, in the cycles of time, we look at our watch and we see that it's certain, like it's 10:38 p.m. here right now. We see it digitally, but we don't think that actually it's not just a digital idea, but it's a movement of the Earth itself. It's the rotation of the Earth, and you can keep doing this. The day is one rotation around. We know all these things, but there are a lot of cycles in the Earth that are not understood very well, at least by most people on Earth. There is the tilt of the axis, which is about 23.5 degrees right now, and over 40,000 years, that goes through, I can't remember exactly what it was. It's the actual angles. It goes from about 21 to 24 degrees, roughly. And that angle is really crucial to the weather patterns and to all kinds of ways that we perceive things. And the actual orbit around the sun, we kind of think of that as this fixed thing that doesn't really change, but it does. It moves from an elliptical pattern to a near-perfect circle, then back to elliptical pattern over about 100,000 years. And so there's a lot of changes. The one that's coming up right now for us is the axis of the Earth has a wobble in it. It's literally wobbling like a top slowing down. And that wobble for the little, if you think of a stick going out of the Earth, and that's the axis, that it moves around in an elliptical pattern that takes what people say 26,000 years. Actually, it's been calculated precisely in the year 2000 to be 25,771.5 years, and that's what that date, December 21st, 2012, is. On that date, one full cycle is completed on that specific day, and throughout time, if you go back into ancient Tibet or India, they talk about this cycle, and they talk about it in terms of yugas or ages that are around there, and how consciousness changes as we move within this cycle. And very importantly, on this particular day of December 21st, the polarity shifts. We go not only from they talk about how on the backside of this cycle, from the 13,000 years coming down to where we are now, that's a male cycle. And when we enter into the other side of it, it becomes a female cycle. One side is dark, the male side is dark, the female side is light. And it's and interesting enough, the scientists of the world right now believe that the North and South Pole are about to reverse polarities.
Could that be dangerous for us?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If the poles were to change, if they were just to switch to do it very quickly and go from north to south, that would not be so dangerous. But what the Russians learned is something that's very important. When they created the Mir space station, the first two people that went up there, after about 2 weeks without being inside of the magnetic field of the Earth, at that point it was so weak it was like they might as well have been in space, they went insane, and they also lost their memories. They had no memory at all. They didn't even know their name.
Just erased it.
It was just completely erased everything, which is what a lot of scientists believe, is that our memory is tied to magnetics.
Yes.
And so if this pole were to go away, and it doesn't happen instantaneously, it takes about 14 days or maybe a little more. And so if these poles, when they go from north to south, what is believed is there's a period of time when there is no magnetics. And if that magnetics goes for more than 14 days, several things begin to happen. The people that are on Earth are going to just not even remember their name, and probably go crazy. The Russians determined that this craziness was incurable. At least they didn't know how to cure it.
We would be magnetically pulled apart practically.
Yeah, we would, by no magnetics. We need magnetics to keep us alive.
Exactly.
And then there's another thing, too, and this is what the Mayans are talking about. This is part of their prophecy, is that they believe that there's going to be a physical pole shift any day now, actually.
Does that mean what's up is down and what's down is up?
No, it means that the axis of the Earth will move to a new location, not just a new south and north become south and south become north, but literally move to a new location. 13,000 years ago, at the other end of this cycle, there was a pole shift. And the science knows that, and they believe that the axis at that before that was in Hudson Bay. That's kind of a guess on their part.
Well, they're starting to record this shift as we speak. I think it's moved like 50 or 100 miles already.
Oh, yeah, but it's made huge jumps. There was a point here a few years ago where the South Pole went off the coast of California for 24 hours.
Jeez.
And there is major things going on at the South Pole where the lines of energy of the magnetics go out at the South Pole, then they wrap around and go in at the North Pole. But what scientists are finding all over, there's these huge holes where the lines are going out and then wrapping right back in again. There was a movie about this on Nova in 2003 trying to describe this. But since then, it's become much, much, much worse. And so if in a pole shift, they don't know, scientists, and we've spent a lot of time studying this one because Edgar Casey predicted this a long time ago, and so we were looking at it carefully. And in a pole shift, nobody has ever been able to figure out how in the heck a planet as big as this, with this much mass and inertia, could suddenly move, 500 miles away, just actually move off its axis. The amount of energy that would take would be unbelievable. It would be something like a moon hitting the Earth or something to do that. But then a few years ago, there was a discovery made, and this discovery is probably the most intelligent idea that I am aware of in terms of how this is possible, and it's tied to the magnetics. And what they've discovered is that the crust of the Earth is about 20 to 40 miles thick, and underneath that is the upper mantle, and it's a rock. It's homogeneous over the whole Earth, and that's what holds the crust of the Earth to the inner core of the Earth.
Is it like a shell for an egg?
Yes, it's very much the same thing. It's like a shell and an egg.
Okay.
About the same proportions, maybe even thinner. And then, but what they found out, and they found this out in science, in labs, is that this rock that is holding the crust to the together to the Earth with no magnetics becomes a liquid.
That could be devastating.
And that means that the crust now is free to move. It takes 14 days, or approximately that long, for the mantle, the upper mantle, to become a liquid.